The Calm Before the Storm, Jeremiah Johnson. It is December 28th, 2018, in America. So most of us know about the shit that's happened in the last couple of weeks. The ban on bump fire or slide fire stocks came as a shock to many. And most of the people on the right, especially, downplayed the ban. But there's a point to be considered. When one thing gets banned, it opens the door for other things to get banned. When a cop can shoot one person with no consequence, then it makes it easier for the next one to shoot somebody else with no consequence. When one thing is banned, it sets the stage for more. Each time this happens, the liberties we have left, and not much, shrink just a little bit further. The president is a slight hiatus, a pause in the march toward the destruction of the United States. Merely a hiatus, as the elections themselves are illusionary and are predetermined long before the phony tally of ballots occur. The United States would not have tolerated Hillary Clinton as president in 2016. The paradigm shift is occurring as we speak. And what was not tolerated then will be embraced in 2020. In the meantime, look at what has been accomplished thus far within the first 2 years of the administration. Next to nothing is the answer. But, you're constantly hearing about how Donald is America's greatest president since George Washington. Give me a break. The best thing that the president accomplished was to strike down the individual mandate for Obamacare by executive order. And that is the only thing that has been truly accomplished. One by one, the president's staff is either being replaced or they are exiting stage left. Mattis left. No big deal, right? Wrong. It has created a tremendous vacuum and contributes greatly to disorganization within the administration. We are on the brink of a nuclear war, and we are. Those hypersonic weapons that Putin or Russia has developed, they weren't set to be deployed until, I believe it was 2021. You remember what I said in that video? Those of you who have been with me for a while, I said that if I were Putin, I would get those weapons into the theater as quickly as possible, because don't think the United States isn't working on some kind of hypersonic weapon like theirs. I also said that if I were an enemy of the United States, I would use these hypersonic weapons and detonate them not at ground level, but high into the stratosphere, so that the infrastructure remains standing and the people all kill themselves and each other. Remember that. Oh, man. We are on the brink of nuclear war. We are pulling out of the INF Treaty, and Putin has announced his country's intention of restarting the nuclear arms race by equipping heretofore conventionally armed missiles with warheads. Excuse me, I'm starting to get a little bit of a cold. Ukraine is a powder keg getting ready to blow up in our faces, and with Poroshenko and the key government pushing for a war between NATO and Russia that they will instigate. The departure of Mattis is a big deal, because when vacuums such as this one are created at a sensitive level, as his former position, the effects can be crippling or at least temporarily paralyzing. The vacuum presents the opportunity for an enemy to strike. The departure from Syria is much more complex than it appears on the surface. Forget the politics and that we're an evil empire and all that. We're discussing particulars and what is in place now as we speak. In northeastern Syria, special forces teams as well as CIA and other clandestine service operatives have been deeply embedded since the Obama years. Now the plug has been pulled, and all of the intricate networks that have been obtained in the area are to be curtailed. Whether a shadow presence will be left there is likely, although conjecture at this point. But Mattis' reaction and resignation is most likely, at a minimum, twofold. Number one, in consideration of what I just wrote, no commander-in-chief is privy to every motion that transpires within a given theater, and tactically, Mattis probably does not agree with the rapidity of the curtailment from both an operational perspective. Two, perhaps more importantly, it may give the Russians and the Iranians the perception of weakness on our part, a perception that can lead to military action on their part. At very least, it may present a haphazard picture of the president calling in airstrikes on Syria at the onset of his presidency, where there were no real targets or objectives. And by the way, speaking of Syria, Israel has been launching attacks against Syria ever since Trump announced he was pulling out the troops. Now, just think about this for a moment. If Syria, Iran, Russia, whoever else is over there, decides, we're real fucking sick of these Israelis. Let's go ahead and, throw some missiles their way. Maybe we'll just turn Israel into a giant sheet of glass. Yeah. I mean, that's what I would do. I would. If I was Putin or, hell, Assad, yeah, I would nuke Israel in a minute. I think Israel is probably the biggest threat to world peace. Then, of course, Ukraine. I really, really cannot stand the fucking Israelis. I really cannot stand them people. Then again, I can't stand any authoritarian types because they're control freak motherfuckers. They should probably be strung up from light posts and trees all over town. But I digress. He goes on to say, I believe there's a third reason that is not as obvious. All the signs indicate that a major war, is approaching, and Mattis doesn't have the stomach for it, because he either believes he would not be allowed to win it, or that he cannot win it. Vladimir Putin reported at a conference packed with journalists that he believes the U.S. and Russia are headed toward a nuclear war. Yeah. I mean, Vladimir Putin believes we're headed toward a nuclear war. A nuclear war. There are a lot of people out there will claim that all nukes don't even exist. There's no such thing as nuclear power plants, and these motherfucking things exist, man. And they are capable now of wiping out almost entire states. Definitely big cities like New York and Los Angeles and the rest of them. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a poor white trash. Yeah. What do I know? Even though I was pretty much right about the other stuff, I don't know. I just don't know anything. I'm too stupid to read this stuff and understand it. I'm too obtuse. Oh. He has written over and over again that it is not as simple as two men who are unable to resolve their differences as needing to fight. This is not UFC 6. Oh, man. Bottom line here is Putin really believes that we're going to have a nuclear war. And if Putin believes it, certainly there are people in our government high up that believe it. And once these beliefs take root, what happens? The roots turn into giant monsters nobody wants. Come to South Carolina and you'll see these huge fields of kudzu. Just like that. Just like that. But I don't know. I'm just a stupid, poor white boy. Anyway, I thought I would share this with you. You want to see the rest of it. It's on both DC Clothesline and shtfplan.com. Hope everyone has a good day. Kill the state before the state kills you.